Lieutenant Riley Beers had logged over 10,000 flight hours with the U.S. Coast Guard, but April 7, 2024 started like any other routine patrol. Clear skies over the Pacific, calm seas below, nothing on radar. The flight path took them past Pikelot Island, a remote coral atoll 160 miles northeast of Yap. In his decade of service, Riley had passed this uninhabited speck of land dozens of times. No fresh water, no food sources, no reason for anyone to be there. At 11:45 a.m., something caught his eye. "Justin, circle back," Riley told his co-pilot, Lieutenant Justin Doyle. "I saw movement near the tree line." As their helicopter banked left, the beach came into full view. 3 massive letters had been carved deep into the white sand. SOS. Riley's training kicked in instantly. "Base, this is Coast Guard 27. We have visual confirmation of a distress signal on Pikelot Island. Requesting immediate backup." Justin leaned forward, adjusting the camera. "Riley, look at this. There are people down there." 3 figures emerged from a makeshift shelter near the palm trees, waving frantically with torn fabric and palm fronds. Even from 300 feet up, Riley could see their skeletal frames and sun-ravaged skin. These weren't recent castaways. "Base, we have 3 survivors on Pikelot. They appear to be in critical condition." The radio crackled back. "Copy that, 27. Weather advisory, major storm system approaching from southwest. Expected to hit your position in 40 minutes. Riley checked his instruments. The barometric pressure was already dropping. Dark clouds massed on the horizon like a wall of granite. The wind shear readings were climbing fast. "Prep the emergency supply drop," Riley ordered. "Include the satellite radio." The crew worked with practiced efficiency, packing fresh water, MREs, first aid supplies, and a waterproof radio into a bright orange container. Riley brought the helicopter down to 100 feet, fighting increasing crosswinds. The package hit the sand 20 yards from the survivors. They stumbled toward it, one man practically dragging a woman who could barely stand. Riley activated the radio drop. "This is the U.S. Coast Guard. Can you hear us?" Then a voice, hoarse and desperate. "Yes." "Thank God. Please don't leave us here." "Sir, I need you to listen carefully. There's a Category 3 storm approaching. We cannot safely extract you until it passes. The supplies should last you through—" "No," the voice cracked. "We've been here 33 days. 33. We're dying. Linda's diabetic. Her blood sugar's crashing. We've been eating coconut crabs and drinking rainwater from leaves. Please." Riley's hands tightened on the controls. Through the camera, he could see the woman, Linda, collapse onto the sand. The 2 men struggled to lift her. A violent gust slammed into the helicopter, forcing it 30 feet sideways. Warning lights flashed across the console. "Riley, we have to go, now," Justin said urgently. "Wind speed just hit 40 knots and climbing." Every instinct screamed at Riley to attempt the rescue. But he knew the math. A rescue hoist in these conditions would be like trying to thread a needle during an earthquake. The basket would become a deadly pendulum. One wrong move could slam a survivor into the helicopter's hull or send them plummeting into the churning sea. "We'll be back at first light," Riley promised over the radio. "Use the shelter. Ration the supplies. Keep Linda hydrated. Small sips every 15 minutes. Don't leave us," the voice pleaded. "Please don't." The transmission cut as rain began hammering the helicopter. Riley pulled up hard, climbing above the turbulence. Below, Pikelot Island disappeared behind a curtain of gray. The flight back to Andersen Air Force Base in Guam felt like hours. 500 miles of silence, except for the storm chasing them home. Riley replayed every second, every decision. Had he made the right call? Those people had survived 33 days. Would they make it one more night? After landing, Riley went straight to the operations center. "I need everything we have on ocean currents around Pikelot for the last 5 weeks." He worked through the night, piecing together their story from weather data and drift patterns. 3 fishermen from Polap Atoll had likely hit the March storm system, the one that spawned 2 waterspouts. Their 23-foot skiff would have been powerless against those conditions. At 3 a.m., a supply drone made it through a break in the weather, dropping additional medical supplies and glucose tablets specifically for Linda. The drone's camera showed 3 figures huddled under a shelter made from boat wreckage and palm fronds. They were alive. Dawn came slowly, the storm finally moving north. Riley was first on the flight deck, personally checking every piece of rescue equipment. The hoist cable, the rescue basket, emergency medical gear. Everything had to be perfect. The second helicopter carried a medical team. Dr. Sarah Chen briefed them during flight. Severe dehydration, malnutrition, and exposure. The woman's diabetic ketoacidosis could be fatal if we don't move fast. Every second counts. Approaching Picolot. Riley saw the SOS letters had survived the storm, though partially washed out. The shelter was damaged, but standing. No movement. Then, slowly, a figure crawled out. Then another. They were helping Linda between them. "Medical team, prep for immediate intervention," Riley said, bringing the helicopter into a steady hover at 60 feet. The rescue swimmer, Petty Officer Marcus Webb, descended first. Through the camera, they watched him reach Linda, quickly checking her vitals before securing her in the rescue basket. Her eyes were barely open, skin pale despite the tropical sun. It took 12 minutes to hoist her up. The medical team began intravenous fluids immediately, checking blood sugar levels. 32 milligrams per deciliter, Dr. Chen announced. Critical hypoglycemia. Starting glucose protocol. The 2 men came up next. The younger one, who they'd later learn was Linda's nephew, collapsed the moment he reached the cabin. The older fisherman managed to whisper, "Salamat, thank you," in their native tongue, before losing consciousness. Riley maintained steady hover position while the medical team worked. Linda's vitals slowly stabilized. Color returned to her face. The 2 men responded well to intravenous fluids. During the flight to Guam Memorial Hospital, the older fisherman, named Carlos, managed to share fragments of their ordeal. "Engine died in the storm. No paddles. We drifted for 6 days before hitting the reef. Linda went into shock when we realized the island was empty." He explained how they'd survived. Coconut crabs provided protein, though they were dangerous to catch with bare hands. They'd fashioned spears from boat debris, rain collection, using their shirts stretched between sticks. The SOS sign took 3 days to carve using shells and constant maintenance to keep visible. Linda kept saying someone would see it. Even when she got too weak to help, she made us promise to fix it after every high tide. The younger man, Tom, had swum out to the reef daily, cutting his hands on coral while prying loose shellfish. They'd tried eating birds' eggs until they discovered them rotten. A sea turtle had washed up dead. They'd dried its meat in the sun, making it last 8 days. "The nights were worst," Carlos said quietly, wondering if Linda would wake up. Wondering if anyone was even looking for us. They had been. Their families had reported them missing after 2 days. Search efforts had covered over 15,000 square miles of ocean, but Picolot had been outside the calculated drift zone. Everyone assumed they'd gone down in deep water. At the hospital, Riley watched the reunions through the window. Carlos's wife fell to her knees when she saw him. Tom's children wouldn't let go of his hands. Linda's daughter had flown in from Hawaii, arriving just as her mother opened her eyes fully for the first time in days. Dr. Chen found Riley in the hallway. "They'll make full recoveries. Linda's kidneys took a hit, but nothing permanent. You found them just in time. Another 48 hours. She didn't need to finish. 3 weeks later, Riley received a letter. Inside was a photo of the 3 survivors, healthy and smiling, standing on a different beach, one with houses and cars in the background. On the back, Linda had written, "Every sunrise now is a gift. Thank you for making sure we could see them again." Riley keeps that photo in his flight bag. It reminds him that sometimes the smallest signs, a flicker of movement, letters in the sand, can mean everything. On quiet patrols over empty stretches of ocean, he finds himself looking a little closer, checking a little longer. Because somewhere out there, someone might be holding on to hope that today's the day they're found. The three survivors still meet every April 7th. They share a meal of fresh fish, cooked this time, and tell their grandchildren about the 33 days that changed everything. About how 3 letters, carved in sand, brought angels from the sky. And Linda? She now volunteers with diabetes awareness programs across Micronesia, ensuring remote communities have access to medical supplies. She ends every presentation the same way. Never give up. Someone's looking for you, even when you can't see them coming. What would you do in their situation? Could you survive 33 days on a deserted island? Share your thoughts below, and if this story inspired you, consider subscribing for more incredible tales of survival and rescue. Until next time, keep looking out for each other.